LeFou, channel 347, your hallucinating state of nations, coming to you from River Thames today. It's a bit kind of grey today, no sun. And anyway, I'm going to let's get some light on that on my lap. Anyway, Tooth Fairy and pain and deprogramming and programming the body. This is going to be a bit unorthodox. I am a bit unorthodox, and some people I think I'm absolutely mad, but that's the nature of it. That's what people do because they will. Because I don't do things like it happened around 208 for that train go 208 209, and I hit a wall, and that was when I realised, that I'd always thought everything was wrong, and but I hadn't kind of caught on to quite how much it was at that point. But then it happened. Then I realised, I'm going to change stuff because I've always I'm a child of the '60s, and one of the reasons I'm doing this because you'll notice I'm not going to show you, but you can kind of get the idea. I kind of got no teeth on the top; they're all out apart from two on the top. The bottom half's like half for, but I'm kind of letting them go because well, it's all right. But I'll tell you the story of it because what happened was I decided, a child of the '60s, right? So we're programmed right from kids. You don't know anything about it as a kid, and in the '60s, the whole thing was dentists and doctors and all that. So consequently, before some of the laws changed on what they put into your mouth, I got all those. I don't know what they put in, but my mouth was mute like every other kid's was at that age, and consequently, I always had problems with my teeth, and I was never that good at cleaning them. I'm lazy like that, and it's like I'm a hunter gatherer anyway, naturally. And it's like they wouldn't have cleaned the teeth. They let nature deal with that, and they wouldn't have had the same problems that we got today because we stuff our body full of all sorts of stuff that we don't need. But anyway, um, so let's go to right. So uh, I got to this place where I said, okay, no more dentist. Right, I'm not going anymore. I knew my teeth were in bad shape, and I knew I was going to get problems, right? And I said, I'm going to cut with painkillers too, so I'm going to deal with pain too. And you know what tooth pain is like, kind of throbs throughout your head to the brain. And you don't want to be on it for too long. But anyway, I decided that that was the way I was going. So at the time also, I'd kind of realized about the pineal in there, that really it should be cleared from the calcium, the fluoride and everything, because that's how it's grown up too, and that's part of the system. It's kind of like there's a program to make sure that those things that need opening up in your body don't get. That's why they put fluoride in toothpaste. So it kind of constantly get kind of layer of calcium over the pineal gland. So unless you and I went on a diet of fruit juices and vegetables at the time for about 6 months. That's all I'd do, and it was quite, I enjoyed it, and I knew that I'd done something after that time, and that's what it takes. You kind of got to go into a serious anti-toxin diet to clear your pineal. I'd already started that, so pain, right? So then I stopped going, so I didn't go to the dentist, and sure enough, pain turns up. And it wasn't long before it was throbbing, and like you're kind of always questioning whether the fact you're kind of gonna make it, or get into the painkillers and stuff. And I used to go for walks to try and just get my mind off the throb. And then I discovered something on one walk. I was walking up a hill, and then I kind of came out of this kind of semi-trance state, and noticed that I hadn't noticed the pain for the last 5-10 minutes. There's been no pain. I suddenly came back into pain, and that's when I clicked. I kind of, hang on a minute, I didn't notice any pain. And after that, I kind of like started listening to the pain a bit more seriously. In that, what I found was that actually what happens is it comes in waves. So it's in and out and in and out. And I thought that was really interesting. You know, that there was period, it should have been pain all the time, think about it. But it wasn't, it was in and out. So I kind of thought, there's something in that. I need to clock that one. And what happened then was, it got to one day when it just got horrendous, right? I was banging my head against the wall, trying to kind of anything but that throb. And I feel like, right, I'm going to dentist. And before I went there, I went round to our friends who, you know, they were a bit unorthodox like me. Still thought I was mad, but yeah, we kind of got each other anyway. I went round first. There was a guy there who I had not met before, and a black guy who lived in gang life in Peckham at the time. And I told him what I was doing, and he showed me his scars on his body because he'd grown up in gang culture. And he said, you know, obviously there were times when, you know, he might have been in a fight and he didn't report it, but he had to deal with the pain himself. And he said, no, just carry on, the pain will go. And I thought, that's another synchronicity, thank you very much. I'll try that. So I left there, not going to the dentist. And sure enough, 2 days later, the pain just disappeared completely from that tooth. 6 months later, it drops out of its own accord. And then, you know, I got it again with other teeth, but I did the same thing. And eventually what happens is you're kind of starting to reprogram management, because what your body is looking for is the boss. He wants to know who the boss is. So you have to kind of, if you always go to the dentist, the message is, oh, there's someone dealing with it, we don't need us. So, but if you change it, your body's saying, oh, like, we've got a job here. And what I noticed was began to notice was, because sure enough, the next tooth come up that gave me a problem, was the pain. You always get a pain again. You always have to go through it. But as it progressed, it got less and less and less. So the body is beginning to learn. It's kind of catching on to the new program. And I did the same with doctors. I'm not interested in them. My body's going to sort this whole thing out. So, you know, I'm still on that one. I've been, in 15 years, I've only been a couple of times. I'm not going to go into that now. But I'm talking about, one of the things I'm talking about is what Tazarian was on about the other day, about DNA. And, you know, they know what, I don't know what the percentage is, I can't remember now, but I think it's about, they know about half or 30% of DNA, and then 70% they've got a clue about. It's just a black zone. Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's kind of to do with, because that's what the nature of the programming is. It's, if you think of a pineal, they've been stuffing us full of fluoride and toxins and all sorts. And that's a program you learn from childhood. You don't know it, you just think it's normal. And so what I'm saying is that the thing to do is to kind of, you got to step out and start dealing with it yourself. And that's when the DNA that's not being used starts to click in, because it's suddenly got a use. And that's why the body itself is the immune system. it's not just pain or tooth pain. It's about the whole body. It's health. It's to do with your health. Um, and the exposure you have to illnesses and things. If the body knows it's dealing with it, it's because it wants to help you. It's going to start doing it for you. It takes time. You can't just expect it to happen. You've got to work at it. So, and that with the pineal, right, opening that up, because that kind of clears a few things too. It gives you that, everything starts clicking in. I was talking about Kundalini the other day, and I've got that. But it's like that's the center of your chi energy as well. So it's like these things, aren't really known in the West, but they're much more known in the Eastern countries. China and all about that. And that's why you get gang culture called triads and the warriors, because they go through the same process and they understand what Kundalini is, and uh, it's tapping into nature and the energy that surrounds everybody and everything anyway. And so uh, I reckon there's a lot more could add to this. It's not on the tip of my brain, but that's what I'm saying. It's not, you got to deprogram. First of all, you got to see the program that you had, because it's like it's normal. Everybody thinks it's normal. It's not nothing normal on this planet. We're in the biggest psychological warfare game ever now, and with COVID, because they're kind of going for it again, and they're trying to get the vaccines out, and they're trying to make tons of money off people who are programmed to, do it when they shouldn't be going anywhere near it. And because once they get needy and addicted to this stuff, they're on it. That's why the old, and the old people die, because they're on bucket loads of medical care in the old homes, and they don't question it. People haven't. My parents never questioned it. It was like they were the doctors were the gods, and I used to say to my mum, because she had fibromyalgia, which is muscle. There's a muscle thing I could do sometime. I'll talk to you about that. But she had that, and she was on a row of pills as long as your hand every day, religiously. Doctors had prescribed it, which meant that eventually her just internal organs just kind of got abused, really. And her mind worked fine, but her body was collapsing from the inside out. And they didn't question it then. So as a child of the '60s, that's how I was. That's how we were all programmed in the same way, and it's still happening today. And that really, the majority haven't got onto it at all, because it's never in. These things are never in any government advice or news programs or anything like that. So you really have to discover it for yourself. There's plenty of stuff out there, so again, you're ignorant if you don't go there. That's what ignorance is. It's not kind of doing the work, finding out what's possible. All the information's there. The only thing you have to do is just commit yourself to doing it. That's it, and then eventually you'll get onto the previous timeline and timeline, immortal life. Yeah, plenty of time. Catch you later, guys. Bye.